This is going to be uncomfortable for me. Joy. Ha. Joy. When is the last time you felt joy? Loaded question. Okay, remember when you were a kid and joy was still a level of emotion that was available to you? You could experience joy. Do you remember that? Joy. I have nephews. They're very young. They hit joy quite easily. I'm jealous. You just sit with them, make a silly face, let them try to fight you like a superhero. They jump right up to joy. What is joy? Overwhelming happiness. People say tears of joy, elation, ecstasy, triumphant exuberance. A mediocre film starring Jennifer Lawrence. You want your stand-up aiming for joy. I don't know if you're ever going to hit it, but you want to aim there. That's the gold standard. What better feeling can you gift to another human being? Joy to the world. Na, 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 na. That's the goal, okay? You've got to try to transmute the bitter, broken, painful stuff into joy to the world. You got to try to get there. Your job as a comedian is to put a little magic back in people's lives. Something people can't wrap their heads around or explain. That's the mystery of joy. If you haven't watched Adam Sandler's comedy special, 100% Fresh, it's on Netflix. This is an advertisement for that. That's what this episode is about. That is a man doing joy. That's how you produce joy on a stage. It's joyful comedy, even when it's not, somehow. You gotta perform from a place of joy. If you want it to be good, you're not always going to perform from a joyful place. Stand-up is hard and difficult and harsh, and you can't always be in a joy spot. Sometimes it's gonna be bad, but if you want it to be good, joy. And you can do frustration and apathy and boredom and shame and depression and anger and bitterness and envy and confusion and anxiety and disappointment and disgust and fear and loathing in Las Vegas. But you always have to end up aiming back toward joy. That has to be the North Star of all of it. All of it. You got to aim for joy. Laughter is joy. It's that place of unexpected joy. It's joy where it shouldn't be. It's upside down joy. It's bewildering joy. Joy that befuddles. Joy that plays tricks on the mind. Comedians, we talk about all the dirty, strange, off the beaten path, outside the mainstream, culturally unacceptable things. Unacceptable. But we have to strive to bring those things into the fold in a joyful way. No, you shouldn't smile about that. You really shouldn't smile about that. That's not right to be smiling about that. Oh, you shouldn't smile about that. It's really improper. You shouldn't be smiling about that. Oh, you shouldn't smile about that. You really shouldn't smile about that. It's a bit rude. Oh, really, darling? You're going to smile about that? You really shouldn't smile about that. But we want you to smile about that. That's the comedian. That's the joy of the comedian, is smiling about the unsmileable. All of those non-joyous, negative emotional states can, in fact, be the exact opposite. It's only a matter of perspective. That is at least the proposal of being a comedian. And it can be hard on the comedian trying to do this. There is value in embracing those other emotional states. They exist for a reason. Sadness can be good. Even something like resentment can be good. You know, we wouldn't have these emotions if they didn't serve a purpose in life, right? You should pay attention to and investigate your emotions, not just write them off or suppress them or immediately try to transmute them into more favorable emotions, such as joy. That's probably not healthy either. But after you've done some processing, maybe try out the joy thing. It's silly and weird and funny to go through that emotional alchemy. It does the heart some good if you can take other emotions and into a positive emotion. Some comics, myself included at times, it's like, whoa, you're still down in the dark hole and you're sharing this. Okay, not sure I want to jump down in that scary pit with you. Sometimes you haven't done the processing yet. Flailing around in the scary pit, maybe that's still an art piece. You've made a thing that is approaching art, but is it stand-up comedy? It's stand-up. You're standing up, talking into a microphone. It's conveying things emotionally, contextualized in a semi-relatable way. We're all feeling and vibing with this sort of, but laughter doesn't strike us as the appropriate spontaneous response. I'm not attacking a certain trend in stand-up that has happened these days because I like experimentation, but if that's the case, if you're in that space, you've created some tension or nervousness in the room, but you haven't turned the corner on it and you haven't figured out how to redirect that emotional inertia toward joy, I'm sorry, but back to the lab. You have work to do. How do you put some love into that joke about that dark, scary thing? The thing that goes bump in the night. What are we going to do about that together? How do you light a fire that makes everyone feel a little more safe around that negative, scary thing? How do you get some joy around it? How do you make the joke feel like a hug in the end? It should feel like a warm hug when you're done. Sometimes when you're feeling frustrated, apathetic, bored, shameful, depressed, angry, bitter, envious, confused, anxious, disappointed, disgusted, fearful, loathsome, or Las Vegas, you just need a hug. You just need a hug. Hugs are kind of a catch-all in that way, and so should jokes be. You know, you got to figure out how to give a joke hug. That's how you make anything that you're talking about more joyful. It's hard to give a hug that feels bad. You can do it, but you got to write jokes that are proper hugs.